All right, today we're cracking a huge musical mystery. We're going to find out how this one instrument, the oboe, became the secret boss of the entire orchestra. Seriously, picture it. You're at a concert, the lights go down, and just before the epic music starts, like 100 musicians all stop and listen to one person, the oboist. They all tune their instruments to that one sound. Why? Yeah, it's not the biggest instrument up there. It's not the loudest, definitely not the flashiest. So what's its deal? Well, you can kind of think of it like in a multiplayer game, right? The oboe is the host server everyone has to sync up with before the match can even start. So let's go hunt for some clues and solve this thing. Our investigation begins with the oboe's number one job, basically setting the standard for the entire orchestra. Yeah, for literally hundreds of years, the principal oboist plays one note, an A, and everyone else has to match it. This whole tradition is just to make sure every single instrument, from the big ol' cellos to the tiny little flutes, are all playing in tune so they sound good together. But why the oboe? To figure that out, we need our first major clue.
Okay, so the source of the oboe's power. It's something surprisingly small, but trust me, it is a total game changer.
So this is it, the reed. You can think of it as the oboe's engine. It's not just some random mouthpiece. No, this double reed is the key piece of tech that makes the oboes so special. It's literally two super thin pieces of cane tied together. When the player blows through them, they vibrate against each other at this crazy high, super consistent speed. And that vibration? It creates a really focused, sharp tone that's almost impossible to ignore.
And get this, most oboists actually make their own reeds by hand. They have to select just the right kind of cane, shave it down perfectly, and tie it all together with insane precision. It's kind of like customizing your gaming controller or even building your own PC from scratch. Sure, it's a ton of extra work, but it gives them absolute control and a totally unique edge with their sound.
All right, time for our second clue, the instrument itself. And don't let its looks fool you, this isn't some old-fashioned thing. Think of it more like a piece of high-tech equipment, precision engineered for a very specific job. So you've got the reed, which we know is the sound source. Then there's the body, made from the super dense wood, which gives the sound its warmth. And look at all those keys. It's this really complex system of metal parts that lets the player hit every single note just right. The whole thing, from top to bottom, is basically a finely tuned machine, and it's all built to perfectly channel the power coming from that tiny little reed. Okay, so let's put the clues together. We've got a unique, handmade reed that creates a super stable sound wave, and we've got a precision-built instrument designed to amplify it. So what's the big reveal here? Why is the oboe the captain? Well, the secret is its sound. It's just different. You know how in a super crowded, noisy cafeteria, there's always that one friend whose voice you can just pick out no matter what? Like it just cuts through all the noise? That's basically the oboe.
And right there, that's the solution to our whole mystery. Because of that special double reed and its super precise construction, the oboe makes a sound that's incredibly stable. It doesn't wobble, and it just slices right through the sound of all the other instruments.
See, it's not about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the most reliable one. That's the secret. It makes the oboe the perfect captain for the team, the one everyone in the orchestra can count on to get in sync. Okay, so mystery solved. But hold on, don't go thinking the oboe is just some glorified tuning fork. Now that we know its secret, let's actually look at how this instrument uses that unique voice to be a total star player.
This thing has been a star for centuries. Way back in the 17th century, it evolved from an even louder instrument. Then you have the absolute legends. We're talking Bach, Mozart, Beethoven. They all wrote some of their most famous, most beautiful melodies specifically for the oboe. Whenever they needed a sound that was really emotional and pure, a voice that could just soar above everything else, they gave the solo to the oboe. It's always been a headliner.
So what's the big takeaway here? The oboe's secret power, its superpower really, isn't about being the loudest or the strongest. It's all about clarity and reliability. It leads the whole orchestra, not by shouting, but just by being the most consistent, clearest voice in the room. So it kind of makes you think, right? What other quiet leaders do you see that set the standard? Maybe in sports, or even in online gaming. You know, that one player who sets the tone for the whole team, not by being the loudest, but just by being the one everyone else can count on. That's the real power of the oboe.